click. If you like accidentally, instead of scrolling, click this with the right click will take you back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
Did you go buy a laser pointer?
No, Claire gave me one, but I was just thinking I could just do it. I could just do it from the thing.
You're all ready to go?
Yeah.
I don't know where you should.
Chips and cookies for you guys afterwards.
All right.
No, you can have them.
There's tons.
Did you get Molly's cookie off the
Yes, I
bed?
did.
Yeah.
My iPad is not chargeable.
Oh no.
Have a suggestion.
We can try to reset it. Actually, if you have the charger and the iPad here, we can try to reset it. It's holding both of them, so you can plug it into the wall and then press the home button and the top button. You hold them down at the same time for like 5 to 10 seconds. And actually, it'll cycle. It power cycles it. Yeah, that's what I would try. We've had them break in like kindergarten, first grade, and that usually fixes it and gets them charging it.
Okay, I'll try it.
I got one today. Who was it? You see the Silcrest photo with her?
Absolutely.
What's the best one? No, you have not seen it. No. So Silcrest. Get on here again. You're good. The best one.
Uh-oh.
Flirt.
All right, what are we trying to do?
So it was this girl.
Log on to board book.
A walkboard.
Teacher's supposed to be small.
That is right. So
I'll have to show you. You will, and it's not so much just that it's bad as it is, but in the photo she's kind of like much shorter than him. It's kind of like I like to call today a mom. And how and then
Fans have tried their own password too many times. I don't know what this program is though. So there's
so
another.
just now and all the conspiracies and he's doing a little heart thing in the best flirt. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it looks like it's just locked up. So you'd have to, maybe you have an email, whatever account that you use to sign up for this. Perhaps there's an email.
Oh, excuse me, did you sign it?
Alright, is there another thing that we can use?
Thanks, Lord.
What are you showing something on?
Any new ministry? No, sir.
Graduation.
Good memories. It was fun. It was great. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It looks like it's just locked down to the wrong password, Jim.
Let me help.
I don't think this is going to get us anywhere. Because the password looks like it's randomly generated, right? Just generate a password every time. It's different every time.
I worked with Trent last week, or last month, to get it all.
Oh, that works too. Yeah, okay, for sure.
Well, do we need it from the start? Because we can try this in like 6:10, 6:15ish. I don't know.
Make it worth your time.
Behind a silver dollar.
How you doing? Good.
So generally this kind of crap, the truth.
That's right. Yeah.
As we all.
Oh, sure.
Conversation starts like that. Guns are relevant. Okay, I made you stand. Where is it? What percentage is not? Well, 100%. Who's that? I know nothing's going to fire. You see the electric no power. No power. $2,500 to add.
We'd like to welcome everybody to our board meeting tonight. It's a little skimpy. With school out, well, not going on. It's a very important meeting. We appreciate those of you that are here. We need to excuse President John Ritchie. He is out of town, and as long as we have at least 5 of us here, we can have a board meeting. So we appreciate each of you being here. We'll begin the meeting tonight with Pledge of Allegiance, and Superintendent Jeff Stevens has volunteered to give the pledge.
Please stand and join me in
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need a motion to accept the consent calendar. Do we have a motion? Moved by Doug. Accepted by Paul. All those in favor? Is there any discussion? All those in favor? A very important meeting tonight. We get the opportunity, or have the opportunity, to renew the contract of our superintendent every 2 years. And we are extremely blessed and lucky to have the superintendent that we do. It is amazing things that he does for our school district. We get to watch him on a regular basis. I can't say a daily basis, but on a regular basis. And he represents our district very well and represents what we believe. And so it's my privilege to find the paper. leave it over on that table.
That's it. Here it goes.
You have to forgive me if I don't get to do this very often. Or I need a motion to approve Superintendent Jeff Stevens' contract for the next 2 years to be the superintendent of Weaver School District. It has been seconded. The motion was approved by Paul and Bruce. Do we have any discussion? If not, those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. I state your name. I, Jeff Stevens, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Congratulations. Next item on the agenda is ratification of employee contracts presented by Larry Hadley.
Board, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to present to you the negotiations we've had wrapped up this past year.
Larry?
Yes, any microphone?
Is that a little better? Sorry. I could yell louder. Board, once again, I appreciate the opportunity to present to you on the negotiations we've wrapped up this year. Just want to let you know, go ahead. That we met with all three groups, the WEA, the WESP, and the WAA. We met with the district negotiation team. We all started in March of 2019. The process was very professional and highly productive. All groups were represented and when presented to the committee. We wrapped up all negotiations and we actually completed them by April 30th of 2019. The WEA, the WAA, and the WSP ratified their agreements in May. So all groups were able to present to their bodies and they were all ratified in May. And I just want to thank all those who participated in the negotiation process. Big thanks to Mike Evans, Barb Whitman, Brandon Bach, and the WA Board. Those are the kind of the leaders and representatives that led the group discussions. I also want to thank Dr. Jeff Stevens. He was instrumental in working with me. It's my first year doing the negotiations on the procedures and principles, and basically all our negotiations are founded in these principles. I want to let you know what all the groups agreed to. So this is a summary of all groups. All groups agreed to a 5% increase to the salary base for all groups. The district will fully fund all steps and lanes for all groups. No insurance premium rate increase for all groups. I had the opportunity to sit with Robert Peterson on the insurance board. It was my first insurance meeting, and it took about a half hour. And I think they'd settled in for about a 3 to 4 hour deal, but this was the first time there was actually no increase. In fact, we had a decrease in insurance. And I really kind of attributed that, listening to everyone in the group, to those that are participating on the HSA. I think we're having a great benefit in our wellness program that the district provides, and our usage rate had gone down. And so all of that led to an actual decrease, so there will be no insurance premium rate increase this year. Therefore, we're going to increase the HSA contribution, $200 to family, couple, and single. So that's the contribution. And then all groups were represented. They had a process in the negotiations. It was a real demonstration of teamwork for the betterment of the district. And all agreements were reached, like I say, by April 30th. So that is a brief summary of the negotiation process for all three groups. Upon ratification, we'll make all the changements to all the agreements by July 1st, 2019, and then we'll have them all posted. So that is our brief summary of the negotiations. Great process, went very, very smoothly, highly professional. We would thank everyone involved.
Thank you, Larry. That's a lot of work, and it is, in my opinion, a terrific outcome.
Thank you.
Really do appreciate everyone working together to solve those kinds of issues. Weaver School District is a great place to work. I can say that because I've been around a long time. So, board, I need a motion to ratify the ratification of employees' contracts for the 2019-20 school year. So moved by Jan and by seconded by Janice. Thank you. And it passes. Any discussion on the contracts?
Appreciate the professionality.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes. Next on the agenda, we're going to move down to Robert Peterson, Dr. Robert Peterson, and the approval of the 2018-19 budget.
So, most we can move into it here. Okay, board, I'm just going to present here some of the, you were given an updated, this was something similar to this was in your packet, and we've got some updated numbers and some tweaks, and so this is the latest greatest. And I gave you a copy at your place there at the table, and then also I gave, we have given a copy for everyone in the room. And to me, this is real exciting, interesting stuff, but it may be boring to some, but it is not, I assure you. Okay, but look at this, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the first few pages, and then we'll see if there's any questions, and then we'll move into the official hearing. First off, it's always good to get a sense of where our money comes from. We have fund accounting, and our first fund is the M&O fund, as you can see up here on the board, and I'll just use this mouse as a kind of a pointer. We have local funds, state funds, and we have federal funds. The local funds consist primarily of taxes, and then we have a little bit of investment income. We transfer some money out and to the foundation and other places, and then also we have a category called Other, and that adds up to $26,512,000. In the big M&O fund, which is our operating budget, a little over 12% is local. Now state also has a levy, the state basic rate, as you can see over here, that's $16,769,000 that is raised for the state purposes. We get $110 million in unrestricted funds. These are basically regular K-12 dollars, and this is really tied to enrollment. The enrollment drives that $110 million. Then there's state categorical funds, the biggest of which is special ed, and then followed by CTE, and then various other categorical funds. State dollars are 82% of our entire budget when it comes to our operations. And so that's why what happens at the legislature every year is very important. Federal dollars are about 5.6 of the operating budget percent. And the two big programs there, the biggest is special ed. They get a lot of federal dollars, followed by Title I. And then there's various other grants after that. Another fund that we have is school food services. Student sales, it's a big revenue item, 4.1 million or 32%. Then also there is state funds, 2.3 million or 18%. And this primarily, in fact, all of it is the state liquor tax that is raised by the sales of liquor. And then the federal dollars are 6.2 million. And so federal funds make almost 50% of the entire school food services budget. Now when it comes to capital outlay, it's almost all local. We get a little bit of state money here, but the rest of it is off of a property tax, earnings on investments, capital leases, other sales of assets and things like that, and then bond proceeds. You remember we're in the building phase right now, and we sold $27 million worth of $27 million worth of bonds, and we also get premium for those bonds, and so that really helps us. So 99.75% of all capital funds are local. Student activity fund, this is what helps fund operations at our schools. They get earnings on investments, they get student fees and tuitions, and other local dollars that are able to be generated for those at the school level. 100% is local. The foundation, once again, 100% of the foundation is local. And then the debt service fund, this pays our bonds. That's $14 million. That was our revenue, and that is 100% local. So when you add it all up, we have a $302 million budget for revenue. 104 million is local sources, 180 million is state sources, and 18.4 million are federal sources in all those funds. Okay, kind of interesting. That a lot of times people out there, they think the federal government is just a big player, and they really are not. They're 6%, but that 6% is critical. If we were to lose this $18 million, we would be hurting quite a bit. Okay, going down to the next page, expenses. Where are things spent? Okay, the M&O fund is the big one, and I've got them by category here. The bulk of our monies are spent on instruction. That's what we do. 155 million are spent on instruction, 72% of the total. That's higher than the state average. State average is around 68%. Weber District has always been higher than the state average when it comes to putting money in the classroom. Student support services, these are counseling and other support type of services, 3.7%. School administration and staff, that's principals, secretaries, those people that run schools, is 5.9%. District administration is 2% of the total budget. there, and so you can see that sometimes we get accused of being top-heavy at the district office. We are not. In fact, we are very lean at the district office. Central services like finance, tech, other, 5.9 million. Maintenance and custodial is 19.2 million, and transportation is almost 10 million, 9.9 million. So our expenses are quite significant there, 215 million, and it's almost all goes into compensation. If you look over here to the right, you see where things are spent. 90% of all M&O funds go towards wages, salaries, benefits. Non-compensation is 9.6%. This is just items, supplies, materials. Okay, and once again, the big one is instruction. Okay, food services. They also have a chunk that goes to compensation, but their biggest is in non-compensation, and the biggest expense there is food. Okay, capital outlay. We pay individuals. We pay some mechanics, other maintenance types out of capital outlay, but the big bulk goes to building things and to repairing things. 34 million. That's usually not that high, but once again, we're in a big building phase, and we're building new schools, and so that's higher than normal. Our normal spending in capital is closer to 10 million. Okay, student activity fund. Once again, most of it's non-compensation. Foundation, most of it's non-compensation. This 261,000 is our staff that are funded. The Emily Euler and her assistants. The debt service fund is all non-compensation. That pays debt, and so when it comes to all funds, the compensation is about 70%. Non-compensation is about 29.5%. Okay, so once again, all kind of interesting. I think it's interesting anyway. Okay. The big question people have is, where are we going to end up? How are we going to do? Okay, at the end of last year, we had a fund balance in the general fund of 34 million. And there's various categories that money is spread at. They go from most restrictive to least restrictive. 682,000 was for inventories. This economic stabilization is another term for that, as we call that the board's rainy day fund. That's at 5 million. That is set by law as a percent. It can't be greater than 4% of your revenue, or your budgeted revenue actually, and we could go as high as 9 there, but we're at 5, and the superintendent and I have been slowly growing that since the time he's been in office. Benefit obligations. These are for if everyone that gets vacation or sick leave were to quit at once, we'd owe $2 million there. Other purposes, typically encumbrances, are $361,000. Then the early retirement programs that we have, because our retirees can retire early, and we have a post-retirement insurance and some early retirement stipends. We set aside $10,250,000 for that. And then just other programs that have carryover balances, 3.2 million, and the unassigned is 12.9 million. Okay, and so that has the 34. Debt service, you can see what their fund balance is. Capital has a big balance going into the year, and then other. These are three things: foundation, student activity funds, and child nutrition. They have a 7.9 million. So we ended the year last year with a $68 million fund balance. Over here on the right. Now scrolling down, what do we estimate is going to happen this year? It's hard to estimate. We won't know for sure until September when everything comes in. Well, everything comes in during July, basically, because the fiscal year ends June 30th, and we really hit the books hard to finalize and get ready for the audit. We are anticipating that there will be an increase of about $4 million in the general fund. And I'm saying that's conservative. I think it will be higher than $4 million, but right now we're saying $4 million. We think our debt service fund is going to go up a little. Our capital fund is going to drop quite a bit to $12 million, but then we're going to issue bonds again and replenish that as we build things. and we'll see modest increases in the other fund. So the drop in total fund balance from 68 million to 60 million is because this capital has dropped. And then you can see just the estimated changes that I put down there. Once again, the most important figure on this estimated changes is this unassigned in the M&O fund. We believe that's going to go up by $4 million. Some budget highlights for next year, and some of them were outlined by Larry, which, by the way, Larry said it was his first year and he was a rookie. If you sat in those meetings, you would have even noticed, because Larry did an awesome job his first year with the negotiations. We calculate, and this is just Fund 1, to fund steps and lanes, our regular K-12 programs, $806,000, and then a 5% base salary increase will cost about $5.9 million. The turnover pays for, you got their teachers at the high end of the scale, and they are replaced typically by teachers at the bottom. There is kind of a savings there, if you will, but there's still a cost. There's $806,000 because people are moving up in the salary schedule. We have about 2/3 of our people that will move a step, and about 1/3 are topped out on a step that doesn't move. And so they'll be seeing a step increase which averages about 2.5% plus the 5% base. So about 2/3 of our people are going to get greater than a 5% increase in their salary. Also, as mentioned, the insurance, we had a decrease in our renewal, which has never ever happened, and we're all excited about. It was close to $600,000. This $399,000, almost $400,000, is that which was experienced by regular K-12 programs. We're going to add $200 to the contribution on the HSA, as Larry had mentioned, so that'll bring the family contribution up to $1,100, and the couple contribution over $700, and this over $900, and the single contribution over $700. Also, we're embarking on a new, it's aggressive health coaching to help individuals who are trying to grapple with chronic illnesses and those kinds of things. We're contracting with Connect Health Coaching. Then just other things, we're in a 5-year period where we're going to full-time office aides in our elementaries. And this is year 3, and we're going to have full-time office aides in 5 elementary. We're also funding, we're very excited about this. It's been a year in the preparation, an equity specialist, and then the training funds for district-wide training to go along with that. We estimate that'll be around $250,000. So our new expenses there are $7,150,000. And so where's the funding coming from? Well, new WPU dollars, this is if there's no student growth, will be about $4.9 million. Local tax revenue, we think we're going to grow by over $1 million. And then there's a new funding stream called the TSSA, the Teachers and Student Success Act. That money goes directly to schools, but we're allowed, districts and LEAs are allowed to take 25% of that and put towards instructional salaries and benefits. And so 25% of that money will help. And so there's where our funding comes from to give us funding that will match our priorities here. We believe that also we're very conservative. For example, there's no student growth. I'll show you in a minute where we've been on enrollment. We believe we're going to grow. In fact, we know we're going to grow. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting. This 5% is the biggest percent increase we've had in salaries for a long time, base salaries. I kind of did a little chart here going back to 08, 09, back when the recession kind of started, the Great Recession. We've gone from, on step 1, lane 1, from 33,000 to over 40,000, 42,000. And you could see the dollar changes at that step 1, lane 1. And then step 1, lane 3, that's the master's degree lane, you can see where that goes. It's really advantageous for our teachers to have a master's. Their starting salary goes from 42 to 47 if they have a master's. And here's been the percent change and that will occur during that period each year. Then what are they making at the top? At the top, here on the bachelor's lane, it was 50,000, and now they're making 63,000. That's over this time period, and they've gone from 59,000 to 74,000. So our top paid teachers earn around $74,000. You can see that at the top, a person with a master's makes quite a bit more than a person with a bachelor's, a teacher with a bachelor's. And that's good for us because we like to have our teachers get more education. We know it's a benefit for children in the classroom, and consequently, we have a higher percentage of our teachers with masters than most school districts. Okay, that's kind of interesting on teacher salary growth. If you come to the next page, child nutrition. When you approve this budget, you're going to approve these child nutrition student lunch fees. We have the elementary that has not changed since 16. And then we're at $1.85 for elementary lunch and $1.25 for elementary breakfast. Junior high has not changed also since 16. We're at $2.30 and $1.50 for breakfast. The high schools have not changed for a long time. $2.30 for the lunch, $1.50 for breakfast. And the adult lunch prices are still the same. And the breakfast are the same. Okay, so when you approve this budget, I'm optimistic that you will, that includes these prices. Let's kind of briefly mention our capital outlay. As you know, in November of 2017, we passed a $97 million bond for these projects right here. And we have been clipping right along. I've just been amazed at Scott Zelmer and his abilities to get things done. Where's Scott here today? You are a get-it-done kind of guy. Anyway,
I'll tell you that in a couple of months.
Okay. We are optimistic that things will work out in 2 months. Okay. Fremont High School addition, complete. Silver Ridge is still under construction, but it's almost done, isn't it, Scott?
It's yes.
Okay. And Orchard Springs, I've got under construction. Would that be accurate? Okay, all right. And we're hoping Orchard Springs will be done by opening day, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll have classrooms and the kids will be in them.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Very good. And then Roy Junior High, I've got that under construction. We've started out there. They're doing
Walls
stuff.
are up. It's going fast.
Yeah. Now, the Weaver Innovations, we have an architect and those kind of things, but officially it's not started the construction there, correct?
We open the bid tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow afternoon.
Wow.
They'll be digging tomorrow afternoon.
So this is like late. We could. This is not due to this date till the 21st of June. I could change that to under construction.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. Okay. All right. So this is all kind of exciting. One of our challenges we have in the capital funding, and I'll just be blunt with you, we have low capital rates compared to other school districts, and the needs ever increase. We pay for our buses out of capital, and we pay for the upkeep and repair of our buildings out of capital. These new constructions pretty much are bond money, and so we held the tooth and taxation in August of 2016, and that helped a lot. But I'm not advocating a truth and taxation hearing this year. Now's not the year. But that's something that we need to keep on because we don't want to fall behind because of inflation. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward in subsequent years. Now here's our tax rates at the bottom. To me, the most interesting part of this chart is our assessed value. In fiscal year 15, we had an assessed value of $7.3 billion. And we went up over $12 billion this year. And you can see the percent increases. 8, 9, 16. That was a big year. 9.5. Okay? Superintendent and I fully recollect that prior to this 8, we had about a 4 or 5 year period of not good increases in assessed value. That's when we had the recession. Okay? And as you know, rates come down when values go up. And so our rate went down overall rate went down. The rate went up here because we had a truth and taxation hearing. And then steady, went down, it went down here even with the truth in taxation hearing. We had one last year to raise money for our 2 new schools, the operating costs for 2 new schools. And we're down now 3.04. Okay? The average home, this just in, is, according to the county assessor, is $306,000. That's the first time we've gone over $300,000. It was $280 last year. And that is the taxable value. It's not necessarily the market value. The market value, what you can actually sell your home for, is higher than that typically. But that's what it is. And your average taxpayer pays over $1,000 on education taxes. That's both state and local this year coming up. How do we compare with the Wasatch Front? We still have a lower than average rate. You can see the districts I've gone from Logan down to Tooele or to Nebo, and Tooele has the highest rate. Salt Lake and Murray have lower rates than us, but they have huge tax bases, commercial tax bases. We have a pretty low tax rate compared to other school districts. Okay. All right. Next sheet. I won't go into this in detail, but you can see our Weaver School District enrollment history. We're growing steadily. We're up over 32,000 last year. In the 1920 year, we think that we're going to be up again significantly. Okay, I don't want to venture to guess how much, but well, I'll guess. I predict we'll be up at 400 students or more with all the building that's going on. One of the things that makes it hard to predict are charter schools. I listed, and I've added a couple since I presented this to the superintendent a couple months ago. The Capstone Classical Academy opened up new this year. And then Art said, you got to put the Utah Military Academy. They're in Riverdale, and I forgot about them, so I inserted a line for the Utah Military Academy. These are the charter schools that are in our boundary. And you can see their enrollments have been steadily growing. A lot of those kids would be going to Weaver School District. Not all of them, because some are Davis District folks, some are Ogden District folks. I also put New Ames. They're not in our district boundary. They're outside of our district boundary. They have a presence up at Weaver State and also in North Davis County. But this is their enrollment, and we think they took some of our high school kids. That's because they had a big jump from 763 to 887. And so typically when they're at a school, we go down in enrollment, or not as high. Okay. All right. Then I think that's it. Nope. One more. A couple more. I just wanted to show you this thing on tax rates. You can kind of see our assessed value growing and our tax rate. But go to the very last sheet on that presentation. Right here. Our value last year was $11 billion, and we've gone over $12 billion, a 9.57% increase. That's a $1 billion increase, $1,054 million increase. 3.4% or $375 million was due to just new growth. That's new houses, new structures. And $679 million was due to changing assessments, where your people's houses and property gets assessed at higher values. Here are the rates that we have to deal with. These two rates right here, the state basic levy and the charter school levy, are set by the legislature. We have no control over those. And yet people, they'll see them on their tax notices, and they might think, oh, that's Weaver School District. It is not. They're set by the state. And you can see on a $306,000 house, this is what they pay there. Here are the rates that are in our control. And if we these are the rates that are certified right here. They were just issued to us yesterday. We have it's 30, 34, 00, 30, 34. If we have an increase in any of these rates, we have to have a treatment taxation. Okay, and you can see they're all down from the prior year because value has gone up. And so on the rates we control, $510 for the average taxpayer. And then we also can control this rate, general obligation debt. It's not subject to treatment taxation. We can set it at wherever we need to set it. And it has been at 1343 for 12 years. And that's been a tribute. We've not raised the debt service rate over, was it 3 bond elections now, Jeff? Or 4? So that's pretty good. Okay. that's basically my presentation, Vice President. I want to say that we're in we have great financial stability. We're in a strong financial shape. The rating agencies, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, they give us high ratings. We're a double A plus, which is the third from the top, and it's a good position to be in. And also at this time, I'd like to thank those on my staff that help with this. Seth Pilkington puts a lot of work into this, and others. My secretary happens to be here for the first time ever, and she's awesome. No offense to other secretaries out there, but she's probably the best in the building. Just saying. Anyway, no, sorry, Clara, you're good too. Okay. Anyway, that's all I've got, Vice President. But so what we need now is to open to a hearing or
Take a motion on this final budget.
take a motion on the final budget and then approve that. Okay. Go ahead, Jeff. We're guiding.
Okay, Board. We need a motion to accept the final budget for the 2018-19 school year. So moved by Janice.
Seconded. No, this is 18.
Seconded by
Jen.
Jan. Now, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The vote passes. Now we need a motion to move into public hearing to discuss the budget. The motion accepted by Paul and seconded by Doug. All in favor? Motion passes.
Now, with the public hearing, I presented basically kind of both in my presentation. Oops, let me speak to the mic so that it gets on recording. Okay, I kind of presented both our budget highlights for the coming year and then where we expect to be at the end of this year. And we have the final budget before you that you approved, and we have the working budget. And now, if there's any comment on that budget, you can accept comment, Vice President.
Did we? Okay, we have no one who signed up to comment, so we'll move out of public hearing. Need a motion. So moved by Bruce,
Seconded.
seconded by Jan. All in favor? Motion passed.
And now you need a motion to approve what we call the preliminary, the working budget for fiscal year 20, so we can start on July 1.
Now I need a motion to approve the preliminary budget for next year, the 2019-2020 budget.
I'll make a motion that we approve the working budget.
Motion moved by Jan, seconded by Doug. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Happy to have you here. I wouldn't hate to have had to explain. Okay. Now we'll move to item D on the agenda, approval policy 5201, bullying policy, second reading, presented by Heidi Alder.
Hello, board. Is this on? Thanks. I'm presenting the bullying policy 5201. We haven't had any feedback or input since the board approved the policy on the first reading in May. And was it May or April? May, correct? In May. And so I'm just asking for approval on the bullying policy 5201 on second reading.
I need a motion to approve the policy 5201, the bullying policy, for the second reading. So moved by Bruce, seconded by Jan. Is there any discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Aye. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go back to item E on the agenda, appointment of retiree pay plan, HRA administrator, presented by Dr. Robert Hughes.
Thanks. Now, as you know, with our professional services, like our auditor, our real estate agent, and financial advisors, after we have a formal bid, they can serve for up to 4 years, and then we have to have a review. And this is board policy, and then they can go for another 4 years, but at least by 8 years, we have to have a formal RFP. 4 years ago, we went out for a competitive bid, and we adopted Health Secure. They're kind of an affiliate of VALIC to manage our health reimbursement accounts. And the health reimbursement accounts are a real cool tool for our employees. Our administrators and our classified employees have amounts that are deposited every year. Retirees, as part of their retirement incentive, they have amounts for all employees that are contributed into these HRAs. And Health Secure has been outstanding in the way they've managed our resources and those accounts. And so we are recommending that they get another 4 years before we have to do a formal RFP.
Board, need a motion to keep Health Secure as providing HRA plan administrator for the next 4 years. So moved by Janet, seconded by Paul. Is there any discussion? All in favor? If not, all in favor? The motion passes. I appreciate your patience with me. Like I said, I'm a rookie. But you learn a lot your rookie year. Thank you for coming. I need a motion to adjourn board meeting. If you don't want to leave, we can just sit there. Motion made by Bruce, seconded, or by Paul, seconded by Bruce. Any discussion? All in favor? The motion passes. Thank you for coming.
Oh, no problem, man. Absolutely.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, dude. Holding it down back.
I hate every time that this stupid microphone comes up.